welcome. Nice to be opening such a cool event and see so many young faces here today. So this is my journey of the 5 steps that I've taken to bring out this creative entrepreneur inside me. I'm not sure on the process. Oh, let's find the clicker. There we go. So for me, it kind of started when I went through university, got my degree in visual communication design, went on to get into advertising. I actually did some work with Cutting Edge in my early days as an art director. And then that took me down to Sydney, it took me to London, and then finally to Dublin. And I had a pretty cool career. I worked as a copywriter for BBDO, and I got to go around the world shooting ads, doing amazing things. But there was like this little voice in my head. And the fact that you guys are all here today suggests I feel like you've got that little voice too. It's like there's something else, there's something more. I don't just want to be an employee making other people richer. I feel like I've got something to share with the world. So my first step is to listen to the voice. Unless the voice says wear Crocs or pick up a gun, of course, maybe ignore that. But that little voice that just kind of is pecking away, maybe it's a hunger, it's something, it's there in all of us, and I think some of us are better at dulling it down. So I got to a point where I wanted to do something different. I didn't know what it was. I wanted to break free from what I was doing. And I had this crazy little moment where I went back to New Zealand, and when I got to the passport desk, I gave them my passport, and they said, oh, the name in your passport doesn't match the name in our computer. And I said, well, my name's Diana Tansey. And they said, yeah, we can see that, but someone's put IN in front of your name. And so they'd actually put me in the computer as Indiana June Tansey. And I laughed and they laughed, and I said, is this a joke? And they, customs don't make jokes apparently. And so it got changed back, but it was like an opportunity. And I thought, Indiana June, that's kind of got a cool ring about it. Maybe this might be permission to kind of explore this alter ego of mine that wants to kind of get out. So the first thing I did was I made a list. What are the things in your life that are important to you? Like, get real about it. This was about 7 years ago now. And on that list, traveling, writing, drawing and painting, meeting new people, good food, good conversation, and exercise were all up there for me. A good day would have all of those things in it. And it's a short list, and I was like, I got to do something cool. And so anyone can make the list, but it's how you connect those dots together that makes the difference. So my step 2 is about inventing passion projects. When I say be a hero, not a hipster, I think heroes, they take risks, but for the right reasons. Whereas a hipster, they don't really take any risks at all. They're just happy playing the part. They're copying what other people are doing. And you know you're a hero when people start saying, that's a very brave thing to do, or that's quite inspirational. And you look back at them and think, really? I'm just doing my thing, So that's kind of a hint. And the passion projects that are important to you that have never been done before, that's the start, that's the kernel. So for me, I traded my desk for this crazy adventure. I thought I'll do a month. We'll see how that goes. I'd never really ridden a bike much. I had a 3-kilometre commute to work. And next thing, I'd ridden over 10,000 kilometres, and it took me to all different countries, to all different places. I got sponsored. People got on board this journey, and I think they were just checking in at the start to make sure I was still alive. I mean, I was like getting sent from all over Ireland. I got sent to like milk cows. I had to eat foods that started with the letter W. I had to sleep in a sandcastle. I had some odd suggestions that I kind of filled out, and I wrote stories about as I went. But as a result, I started meeting people that were also on interesting journeys, and that was a life-changing moment for me. So then once you start doing something cool, people get on board. I ended up hanging out with the All Blacks in Argentina, as you do. I got like full covers on things. I became the official spokesperson for a chip brand, which my mum discovered when she opened an in-flight magazine and saw my face, and I had to do crazy things with chips around the world anyway. No one offered me a job to be Indiana June. I didn't go in and apply, but I kind of just worked it out as I went. So I just want to show another little project I'm working on right now, because that's kind of a little crazy on the scale. Here's a little passion project of mine that when I get an interesting cup of coffee, I like to draw a picture of it. And I call it #coffeecharacter. And so these are just a few from the last month or so that I've kind of been playing with. So your passion project doesn't actually have to be like crazy, quit your life and get on a bicycle. It can be just something little that you do that nobody else does. And so this has now led me onto a podcast, and I'm now talking about the drawings that I do on my bicycle. And anyway, I didn't start this expecting any applause, but you accept it as you go. So number 3 for me, and this is something this is probably the core of what I do now, is building tribes. You guys are not the only weirdos, or whatever you do that's weird, you can find other people like you now. The internet has made that possible. And when you start joining together, amazing things happen. So when I hit Buenos Aires on the bike, I stayed in a hostel with a guy called Canal Calro, and he was working on a travel startup. And I didn't even know what a startup was, but I was like, that sounds kind of cool. And so we got talking, and I talked about all the travel writers and bloggers I'd met on the road. And he said, if we combine these 2 ideas, we might have something here. So next up, we launched Out Trippin'. And it was an idea that when people plan travel, it's a bit broken. Often the information you need is from the people who have been there, but you've got people like travel agents that are actually doing the booking for you. So we created a platform where you could describe your dream holiday or what you were looking at, and the travel writers and bloggers would compete to build your holiday, and you would choose the one you liked best. But they didn't just build the holiday, they wrote you the story that went with it, and so you could live out this adventure. So this took us we started in Argentina, and then we went to Chile, also known as Silicon Valley, I learnt when I got there. And we got investment there, and then it took us to Melbourne. It was a wild ride, and here are just a few of the travel writers that we worked with from all over the world with all different specialties. So for me, I started to see a change. I guess if we look at what our grandparents were doing, it was very much that industrial mindset. They were focused on like factory work and creating goods. Then I look at my parents and the internet. Computers kind of started to change the way we worked. The information economy meant we were very focused on service. And now it's getting crazy. Like, you can't just be a designer anymore. You've got to be a user experience designer. We're not in customer service anymore. We're in customer experience. So I'm moving this whole talk is, I guess, trying to work out where you fit in this connection economy. What creative work are you going to bring? How are you going to make the world a better place through the experiences you create? So there's me on the right. You can sort of see hiding in blue pants there. This is a group of people I hang out with a bit. This is an event I organised at the Coterie co-working space. But I think these tribes that we build, right now we are a little tribe. We are having this experience, and we're the only ones to have this experience, and that brings us together. And so I think some of the most interesting things that are happening right now are about bringing groups of people that care about the same things together, which is what I'm doing in my new role. So step 4 is follow the breadcrumbs. If you're eating a baked good, probably don't follow the breadcrumbs, but follow the breadcrumbs is like the nuggets, the little clues that you're on the right path. So me talking here today, something might speak to one of you, and you might come and talk to me next, and then that might lead to my next adventure. And if you're open to that, it's pretty powerful. So just a little bit around what I do now. I work at Creative Enterprise Australia, and our mandate is about trying to help creative businesses accelerate. When you look at these numbers, the creative industries contributes over $45 billion to the GDP. It employs more people than the mining industry, but it doesn't have the same support. And so what we do is we look to really help start, grow, scale, and connect those businesses, to connect them with the funding they need, the support they need, the information they need, the co-founders they need, the coffee they need, whatever it is to make their business come alive. So you can see we've established more than 40 startups. I think that's at 50 now, actually. This is a bit old. Over 500 creative businesses. A lot of investment has been generated from the work we do. So the startup fund that we have, currently it's only just over $1 million, but we're looking to expand it very soon. So we've made about 6 investments, up to $150,000 in these young companies, mostly out of Brisbane. And some of them have now gone on to raise their Series A, so it's pretty cool to see it all happening. But there's more than that. Like, this is just I threw together a few things that I'm aware of that are happening right now in Brisbane. So if you've got a creative startup idea, you can go to like a startup weekend. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but it's 48 hours. You arrive on a Friday, you pitch an idea, you make a team, you drink some beer, you eat some pizza, you crack out a minimum viable product of that business idea, and you present on a Sunday night. And it's a way to road test your ideas. So like if you just have a really cool, quirky idea and you want to get it out there, you get a minute to pitch it, and then you have a business at the end of the weekend. And some people abandon those businesses, but some of them go on to become really thriving startups. You've got things like the Lord Mayor's Budding Entrepreneur Grant. That's $5,000 to put towards co-working or going to a conference that you think is going to help you. River Pitch is on, that was on last night at River City Labs, and that's a group of amazing entrepreneurs that are all pitching for investment. You've got things through the Innovation Grant. I mean, Anastasia Palaszczuk has promised like more than $400 million to the innovation agenda. So you've got the Young Starters Competition, check that out. The Ignite Ideas Fund, meetups like Silicon Beach. Every day there is something going on in Brisbane that you could be learning and networking and building your spider web of contacts. So it's pretty cool. I'll just go back just for a second to the co-working space that I run. So we're based over at Kelvin Grove, and the idea there, if you're not familiar with the idea of co-working, is to have a community and a space where people can come in, they can have a permanent desk or a casual desk, and there's events and activities happening, they've got tea and coffee, Wi-Fi, all the basics. And we run a lot of different events and workshops and acceleration programs to help develop your businesses. And I was just saying to Paul before that like some of the coolest things happen just between the members themselves. It's not just about going there to learn. It's not like a school. It's a place you go to hang out with people who are like you, like your weirdos, people that want to change the world. So my final point, final step was about making an impact. Like if you don't care about it, like why would I? And you only get this one life. And I think I know that I was living to a certain extent a bit like I was just a ball in a pinball machine, you know? I was getting fired around and it was cool, but I wasn't choosing it. And you guys, especially at the start, like you're finishing high school, you can do anything you want. And this is a great time to test. You can live with your parents. You can like fail, and then eventually have a success. You don't have a mortgage or kids or anything like that. So it's the time to like really run with it. I mean, my job at the Coterie is to empower this community of doers to use their unique gifts to change the world. And that's pretty cool, I think. So if you want to come by and check it out, I'd love to show you around. And if not, just to come by and show me what you're working on, and I can give you some ideas about where you could go next. This is a book by Daniel Pink, and I really liked, it's about the future belongs to right brains. And I think it's true. The innovators, the creators, I think what it means to be an artist now is quite different. You can be an artist in the way that you put clothes together. You can be an artist in the way that you wash cars. You can be an artist in anything, but just do it differently and do it well. So just a little recap on releasing the inner creative entrepreneur. Listen to that voice, invent your passion projects, build a tribe, follow the breadcrumbs and make an impact. And you actually cannot fail if you do those things. So that's me. So thank you very much, guys.